So, you're thinking of moving to Bend and you're coming for a weekend and want to know what you should experience while you're here. That's what we're going to cover right now. What you should do if you are here for 48 hours. If that sounds like something you're into, let's get after it right now.
This is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living, eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good with the bad of living in Bend and surrounding sunny Central Oregon, then subscribe to the channel, tap that notification bell below so you can be the first to know about the current market happenings here in Bend and surrounding Central Oregon. My name's Ryan, this is Zach. We're both licensed brokers with eXp Realty in the state of Oregon and we absolutely love what we do. So, whether you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 or beyond that, it doesn't matter to us. Give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. If you're local, let's go get coffee somewhere, talk about your current situation so we can figure out the best course of action moving forward regarding your real estate transaction.
So, we're at the Looney Bean. So, we're talking about 48 hours in Bend. If you're coming for a weekend, you're coming for a couple days, you're thinking about moving here, what should you do while we're here? Well, we're gonna start at Ryan and I's favorite coffee joint. This is the Looney Bean. We are downtown Bend. This has an amazing view of the Deschutes River. If it's warm, you can sit outside. Beautiful Deschutes River, very cozy in town. Old house style building. It's right next to some other amazing places we're gonna share with you. But if I would start here or maybe Sister's Coffee down in the old mill. But if you're wanting to start your day with some coffee, it would either be here at the Looney Bean, Sister's Coffee in the old mill, and then we're gonna show you a couple other spots. We're gonna walk this way. If you wanna spend some time downtown, the oldest restaurant, an absolute staple of Bend, is the Pine Tavern. We're walking by it right now.
As we approach it.
One of the best happy hours. It's got a pine tree that grows right through the main dining room. This has been here since 1936. So great spot for lunch and dinner. Also right on the river. So you can sit outside, nice weather, you can enjoy the river. And then as we just traverse another 10 seconds, we're gonna be at Bend Brewing Company. This little area is kind of on the backside of downtown, but I think this is kind of the pearl of downtown. You've got, if you turn here, you'll see they've got a great patio. They've got great indoor seating. They have amazing food, beer. Bend Brewing Company is amazing. So you could do a whole day just downtown hanging out. You have Drake Park right behind us. Ryan coined it the Central Park of Bend. It's about 1/100th the size, but an amazing space. You can spend the day in Drake Park. You can have coffee at the Looney Bean, lunch at Bend Brewing Company. You can enjoy dinner at the Pine Tavern and shop till you drop in downtown. There's a ton of other great restaurants in downtown. But if you come to Bend, you gotta spend some time in our old downtown. A lot more mom and pop shops, local. You've got Revolver men's clothing, you have Evergreen women's clothing, you have Lululemon boutique, you've got so many different local shopping opportunities here that people absolutely love. You've got the Tower Theater, which was, I mean, the Tower
1940.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost as old as our restaurant here. It was out of commission for a long time. They revamped it, put in world-class sound equipment, lighting equipment. I mean, we get huge artists and comedy acts and all kinds of different stuff that comes through the Tower Theater now. What are some of your favorite parts of downtown?
Yeah, so we're going to be actually on the back side of downtown, like Zach touched on, because to the right of us is going to be Drake Park. We're going to go through this little alleyway here that is actually kind of beaming with a lot of action too in its own right. Primary downtown is to our left on the other side of these buildings here, but we're going to show you a vantage point that we otherwise haven't really shown except for the one day that we walked through the first farmers market of the spring season about 5 months ago. But this will give you some vantage point and some perspective of what downtown is all about, because it really is kind of the main draw of Bend. It's been around obviously as long as Bend has. It used to be the highway 97 used to go right through downtown. This was years and years ago, decades ago, but now it's actually one of the main staples of Bend. My favorite part of downtown in general is going to be just the shopping amenities in addition to the restaurants. I love coming to the restaurants downtown. There's always vibrant energy down here on a weekend afternoon or a weekend night. But some of my favorite restaurants include Boss Torres is a great steakhouse, 900 Wall has a great ambience and a great bar scene inside. I love Noi Thai, it's a great Thai restaurant, and just kind of zipping around downtown on, say, a Friday night or a Saturday evening. There's just so much energy in the air being down here in Bend, because this is a spot that draws so many people over the course of a week and then going into a weekend.
On the south end of downtown here, we have a place called McMenamins. If you're from the Northwest, you've probably heard of McMenamins before. I think ours is probably one of the best. We've got a movie theater with couches, and they'll serve you food and drinks and everything else. It has an indoor hot tub with an open ceiling, so if it's snowing out, it's snowing in there. They've got lodging. They have some secret bars in there. They have a really good restaurant. It's such a neat, interesting place. There's just 900 Wall. One of my favorite places. If you were looking for a place to grab like a dessert at the end of the day, maybe a port wine, a dessert, sit on the patio at 900 Wall would be absolutely amazing. One of our nicest hotels is the Oxford Hotel that is right downtown, that has valet parking. There's just so much. You want to buy Birkenstocks? We got a place for Birkenstocks. You want to buy some On Cloud shoes? You got that. Like whatever you need to buy, you can really get here, but they're all pretty much mom and pop shops, which is really cool. I enjoy that. We've got a great little bookstore down here. We've got a bunch of dive bars if that's your thing.
Paper Jazz.
Paper Jazz if you want a gift card or a candle that looks like Snoop Dogg. You've got some really nice high-end bars. You've got incredible wine shops.
This is Boss Torres right here, guys. We just talked about
One
that.
of the absolute best steakhouses in Bend.
Yep.
And then their main competitor in town has
yeah.
opened a bar next door
Yeah.
called RBC Bar.
That's right.
With the Bulls. You have Nichelle Jewelry, a local jewelry company that started probably a decade or so more. Lots of really cool jewelry. There's so much downtown. It's so vibrant. Every store is really cool. I think everything down here is really locally owned.
Yeah, it's great.
You've got another Ola down here. We talked about in another video, or we talked about in this video. In the Old Mill, they have an Ola. There's like 4 or 5 Olas here, but they're locally owned. Great restaurants.
Yep.
So, if you're coming to Bend, you got to go downtown. It's one of the jewels. And with the growth of Bend, a lot of people talk about the bads of the growth, right? You'll read in the comments, oh, Bend, when I grew up, Bend was so small, and it was the same for us.
Yeah.
But also, downtown was pretty dead. I remember we'd come down here, there wouldn't be hardly anyone here. The parking spots would be all open, half the businesses were closed. Now, I mean, all the businesses are vibrant, doing really well. It's hard to find a parking spot. I mean, town is very, very lively here.
It really is.
Come to Bend, plan on spending 4 or 5 hours downtown.
Yep.
Parking can kind of be a mess. Get a spot in the parking garage. Just pay the extra so you don't have to move your car every 2 hours. But downtown Bend is awesome.
It totally is. So this is going to be basically one of the first stops that we present to you guys in regards to spending a weekend in Bend. Downtown Bend obviously has to be on that list. Now we're going to take you around town, show you some other spots that are worth visiting if you're here for a weekend in Bend, Friday to Sunday. So let's carry on with it. We'll see you guys in just a moment.
Buckle up, guys. Going to be a good video.
Okay, so one of the first things that I would do if I was here for a weekend, I'm getting down by the river. It's usually sunny outside. The weather's usually pretty mild, especially in the fall. This is one of my favorite weather times of year. I like to be down by the river. Right now, we are on the Deschutes River Trail. It's right in the center of town. It goes along the river. It's to our left right now, and we're gonna be coming up to the actual water itself very soon. But this trail system right now, it's dirt. It's gonna transition into more of a concrete style bike trail, walking trail, that type of thing here in just a few hundred feet. But it goes all the way up and down the river next to the old mill district, goes all the way up and down the opposite side where the amphitheater is. It's just a really cool place to be outside, especially when the weather is nice.
So it's a pretty easy trail. It's got a couple areas that have some good elevation, but it's not super hard. For the most part, it's fairly flat. So if you enjoy it, it's about 3.5 miles. Loops out in the forest, crosses over a bridge, and start in the old mill, end in the old mill. It's a great recreation. This is absolutely one thing I would not miss if I was coming to Bend for the weekend. Gotta hit the river trail, gotta spend some time on the river. But as we come up here, we'll show you this little beach spot. So it's earlier in the day, got a little smoke out today, so there's not gonna be many people here, if anybody. But there's a little area here, a little sandy, pebbly beach. Sits right on the river, so we're going to show that to you guys. The Deschutes River is probably one of the main reasons why Bend is so exciting to live here. We've got this beautiful river that runs right through town. We also have the mountain. It's another huge attraction, but Brian wants to pan over, kind of show you this little area. On a hot summer day, this place will be flooded with people.
Yep.
We pan the other direction, people will hang out right here in the grass, under the trees and the shade. So the Deschutes River, the river trail, this is a main thing to do. Absolutely can't miss if you come to Bend for 48 hours over the weekend, whenever you're coming. So on to the next stop.
You guys are down here for a weekend in Bend in the fall. It's like you gotta come spend some time in the old mill district area right now. We're crossing the footbridge, going over the Deschutes River as we enter into the actual commercial area of the old mill district. There's shops, there's restaurants, there's all kinds of things to do over here. This is one of the bigger draws of Bend over the last 20 plus years, and for good reason. It's just been a really awesome design that they've taken under their belt, and just really made this place a just very happening spot.
So there's tons of shopping, tons of places. This area has a lot more of your box stores. You've got Victoria's Secret, you've got 𝐁𝐞𝐧𝐿, you've got Gap, you've got American Eagle, you've got Buckle, you've got a ton of those type of stores. REI. You also have, our REI is amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
You also have some more local stores. You've got a Vanilla, you've got a home or City Home. So there are some other options. Our movie theater is down here. If you want to catch a movie while you're in town, it's a 16 theater stadium style. We've got an X. We've got the what's the other thing called that's really popular? The
IMAX.
IMAX. Yep. And then there's a lot of great restaurants here. You've got Greg's Grill, you've got Anthony's, you've got
Hola.
Hola's one of our favorites, like a Peruvian style restaurant. They have great food, great margaritas. You've got, what else do you have for food in here?
Sushi place, Mio Sushi.
Oh yeah, Ladybird.
Cafe Yum, Ladybird, Pastini.
Pastini,
Yeah.
Red Robin.
Red Robin.
We've got
That's
a
right.
really cool Red Robin.
Don't
right
forget
on the
Red
river.
Robin.
Yeah. Banana Republic for shopping. So lots of great stores. Definitely a great area for lunch. I don't know that I'd come down here for breakfast. Is there any real breakfast
Not real
spots down here?
breakfasty, but yeah, certainly lunch or dinner.
Yeah,
Just
but
leading up to a show maybe.
If you came to Bend and didn't go to the old mill, I feel like you kind of miss out
For
on
sure.
a good part. There's a whole trail that runs right along the river that we've talked about. You could even have your lunch and take your hike down the river trail.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this is a great place to shop, have some lunch, have some dinner, catch a show. So much that you can do right here. several places that you can stay here as well. If you pull up a map, you'll be able to see tons of hotels. There's probably 3 or 4 really nice hotels right around this area, especially if you're planning on taking in a concert. It can be really busy down here after a show. It'd be really awesome just to be so close to your hotel, so you don't need to jump in a car and cruise from there.
Totally.
So next, we're probably going to cruise, show you some of the amenities over there. Some things that you absolutely want to see there. And we've got a bunch more stuff to show you. We hope you're enjoying this. We hope you use some of this when you come to Bend. Ryan and I have been here for 30 years. We know a lot of the awesome stuff to do and the things that we just don't think you should miss.
Okay, we are on the far west side of Bend here. This is Northwest Crossing, a very, very well thought out and master planned community that started probably 25 years ago, but it's just a really neat area that if you're going to be spending a weekend in Bend, you ultimately just want to at least experience this part of Bend because it's just so unique and there's just so much to do over here on the west side.
So we're going to cruise into Northwest Crossing, but before we do, across the way you can see the Grove. This is a huge indoor food cart type area. It's like if you go to the mall, you'd see in the food court, but much nicer. They've got some great restaurants. They've got a great lounge in there. Right next door, you've got some great condos. You have RBC, Rancher Butcher Chef, one of the best steakhouses in Bend. So you've got a great Thai place over here. But they did a great job when they were building this area of incorporating businesses, restaurants, all kinds of different stuff. So there's a Saturday market does it go all the way through the fall?
It goes through the end of September.
So this whole road here gets shut down.
Right to our left.
We've got a great Saturday market with all the bakeries and just makers, if you will, of things here in Central Oregon. But you've got great places. The best bakery in Bend, in my opinion,
Yep.
Sparrow Bakery. You've got a pizza place. You've got a burger place. You've got La Rosa, one of the favorite Mexican restaurants in town. Washington. There's so many great restaurants in this area that are just minutes away from all the houses in Northwest Crossing. But I would definitely hit Saturday Market when you're here. Check out maybe one of the restaurants. Maybe grab an ocean roll. They're famous for their ocean rolls over there. They've got all kinds of great coffees and different stuff at Sparrow Bakery. Definitely an area that you'd at least want to check out. Maybe go over and check out the park over there. What's the park called?
Discovery Park.
Discovery Park. Huge pond, great grassy area, an off-leash dog park area. So definitely Northwest Crossing is something that I would check out if I was coming to Bend for 48 hours.
Totally. Right to our right here, this place is called Mountain Burger. It's one of Zach and I's favorite spots to come get a beverage to.
Yeah,
If
Pokey
we're
Row.
on the west side of town, yeah. I mean, this is like the subdivision that kind of really branched out and just kind of made Bend what it is outside of like downtown and the old mill area. It's kind of its own little community here. So we're in the commercial area as we're walking down the sidewalk here, but then as we continue on, we're going to get into the neighborhood portion of it. But it's it really kind of painted a picture and laid a foundation for what a lot of other newer subdivisions are trying to model here in Bend. But it's a great spot if you're just here for a weekend and trying to get a lay of the land in Bend. Here on the west side of town, we're near the road that goes up to Mount Bachelor. We're near a bunch of golf courses on this particular stretch of town. We're also near Bill's Trailhead, which is just world renowned for its mountain bike trails. So there's just a lot to do. It's still on the west edge of Bend, but it feels like you're in the center of it all. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's some great development around here. We'll spin around, kind of show you some of the, well, we're a little far away. We're still in the commercial area, but
Yeah.
a lot of little business spots, small office spaces. But I mean, 20 years ago, these trees were tiny. Everything's kind of coming to fruition now. It's so well kept. Very neat area. If I'm coming to Bend for the weekend, I definitely want to see a Northwest Crossing.
Absolutely. And just to piggyback on that farmers market, it is probably the biggest farmers market in Central Oregon. It goes from early May until the end of September, and like just this entire stretch of where we're walking, there are just booths everywhere, and they go all the way down to the edge of the road here where it connects with the roundabout and the park. But it's just grown each and every year, and there's 4 Saturdays in September, of course, and it's popping each and every one of those Saturdays. So something you definitely want to hit up.
Circle around and show them some of these houses.
Sure.
Right here. So that shows you how quick you get from the commercial to the residential. So everything behind us is full of residential. So without the use of a car, you can get into your restaurants, shops, school, so much super quick. Nice, beautiful park. Northwest Crossing is worth checking out. Towards the end of the evening, concerts usually start 7-ish. Opening acts, usually doors open around 6. Opening acts start at 7. Main act usually comes on at 8:30. This is a must-do. We have a full schedule of concerts in September. I think there's a slate of 15? So every other night there is a show in town right now. You've got some great names coming to town. So a concert while you're here is an absolute must-do. I would try to plan my trip around a show that I like. If you're moving here, you want to move here, you want to get the full experience, this is definitely something I would do. It's a great venue, lots of standing room only. For some of the slower shows, they'll have seating areas with chairs. The jam-packed shows, when Tyler Childers was here, it was absolutely packed. Who was the other one that was here last week? The country artist Jason Aldean, super packed. Dave Matthews, super packed. And then you get some quieter shows. Anderson .Paak, Sturgill Simpson, they're both coming this month, but so many great shows. I think there was over 60 shows this summer. This is a must stop while you're here. Tickets can be a little spendy. Expect to pay anywhere between $60 and $120, $130 a ticket, but it's absolutely amazing. You have the river that runs right by you, a lot of food options, drink options. So come see a show at the Hayden Homes Amphitheater while you're here.
Yeah, you really have to. I mean, this amphitheater's really grown up over the last 20 years. It started out as kind of a small venue for some maybe older artists kind of on their retirement tour, but now it's like you got artists in their prime that are going from, say, Lumen Field in Seattle, making a pit stop here on their way down to SoFi Stadium in LA. So it's like right in the middle of like their prime, and it's just a spot they want to be at too. We got the old mill, the river right to our left right now, so it's just a very, very happening spot here in Bend, which draws a lot of people, gets a lot of people excited about the possibility of maybe living to Bend. But ultimately, if you're here for 2 days, a couple days at a time, I mean, this is definitely a spot, an area that you want to take advantage of if there's a great show that is being put on by a performer that you like.
The other thing about watching a show here, this is going to be where you catch your sunset. You stand on the right side of the stage looking out, and you're going to see the sunset right over Deschutes Brewery's actual facilities, the mountains. It's an amazing place to watch the sunset. So this is going to be where you catch your show and watch your sunset this weekend. So on to the next. So we would be remiss if we didn't mention one of the best features of Bend. Bend is one of 3 cities in the United States that has a once active volcano inside of its city limits. This is Pilot Butte. This is one of the main attractions of Bend. So many people hike up here every day. I don't know how many visitors actually do, but when you come up here, you'll pass 20, 30, 40 people in the 45 minutes it takes you to get up and down. You can drive up here, you can hike up here. There's actually 2 different roads. There's a hiking trail and a road. The road's closed during the winter because it gets really slick, but you have 360-degree panoramic views of Bend. We're a little smoky today, unfortunately, but where we're looking right now, you'd have Bachelor, the 3 Sisters. You can see all the way out to Smith Rock. You can see east of town, Black Butte. You can see everything. This is an amazing spot. If you're coming to Bend, you have to come up here, whether it's via car, hike, however you do it. I enjoy cruising up here on a hike. Takes about, I don't know, 40 minutes. It's about, I mean, if you're booking it, you can get up here in 14, 15 minutes, and then back down. But it's an amazing place. You kind of get away from all the hustle and bustle of town getting up here, and it gives you some perspective on town, because as Bend grows, you're like, oh, it's 102,000 people now. And then you get up here and all you see is a little town around you, and you see nothing but forest everywhere else. So it's an absolutely amazing spot. You have to come up here if you're coming to Bend.
It's pretty cool. It's a cinder cone right in the middle of Bend. It's 500 feet up above the rest of the elevation of Bend. And so you get this 360-degree view. This is where we actually shoot off the fireworks during the 4th of July. So you get a 360-degree view of the fireworks wherever you are stationed for that event. That's pretty unique. But yeah, it's right here in the middle of town. It's the landmark. It's almost the staple landmark in Bend. It's been here obviously for as long as Bend has, and way beyond that. But it's really unique having the opportunity to traverse up something. We don't have skyscrapers in this town, but you get to have the perspective of being in a tall building and just see as far as the eye can go. You can see Redmond, Smith Rock, you can see Powell Butte, you can see the mountains over here to our left, all 7 peaks, among some others on certain clear days. So it's a very cool little feature that Bend has. If you're coming here for a weekend, figure out a way to get up here, whether you're going to hike it or just maybe drive up here. Get up here and see the landscape and see the perspective of Bend, the high desert, and everything that Bend and Central Oregon has to offer. It's a pretty cool thing that we offer here.
So one thing I don't think we mentioned is some breakfast spots. So if you're going to get breakfast in Bend, go to 𝐀𝐞𝐬𝐧, Victorian Cafe. Those would be 2 huge recommendations from us. Lunch, we talked about we talked about Bend Brewing Company. Where else?
BBC, yeah. Los Jalapenos is a great hole-in-the-wall Mexican place.
Yeah, that's a local spot. You probably shouldn't have told them about that. Like that's my favorite place in town. It's tiny. They're closed on Sundays. Dinner, what did we talk about for dinner? We talked about the Pine Tavern. Where else?
Pine Tavern. You've got
RBC,
Boss. We talked about Boss. You've got 𝐁𝐞𝐧𝐼's downtown.
𝐁𝐞𝐧𝐼's amazing.
Great
Just one best restaurant in Bend.
Downtown Bend.
Pretty amazing. Coffee. We talked about Sisters Coffee Company in the Old Mill.
Thump Coffee's great.
Thump Coffee's amazing. And Looney Bean, I think, is the best experience in Bend.
Totally.
Attractions. We talked about Pilot Butte, where we're at right now. We talked about the River Trail, the Tower Theater, taking in a concert. I mean, these are all amazing things. We'd love to meet with you guys. I hope that you've enjoyed this. I think that if you could fit all of that into 48 hours, you'd absolutely love it being here. It's pretty amazing. So thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you. We'll see you on the next video.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.